How's it going, crew? This time around we will be diving into the movies of Robert Downey Jr. To date, his movies have made $16 billion. First off, Hound, released in 1970. At the time of this video's production, the revenue data was absent. Greaser's Palace, released in 1972. We couldn't access the earnings information when producing this video. 2 Tons of Turquoise to Taos Tonight, released in 1975. Financial details were undisclosed during the making of this video. Up the Academy, released in 1980. We couldn't access the earnings information when producing this video. Firstborn, released in 1984. It made $6 million. It was a bust. Weird Science, released in 1985. It made $39 million. It was a winner. Tuff Turf, released in 1985. The amount it made was unavailable when we made this video. Girls Just Want to Have Fun, released in 1985. The amount it made was unavailable when we made this video. Back to School, released in 1986. It made $91 million. It was a moneymaker. America, released in 1986. At the time this video was produced, earnings figures were unavailable. Less Than Zero, released in 1987. It made $12 million. It was a success. The Pickup Artist, released in 1987. It made $13 million. It was a dud. Rented Lips, released in 1987. The profit data was missing when this video was compiled. Johnny Be Good, released in 1988. When this video was made, the revenue information was not obtainable. 1969, released in 1988. It made $6 million. The lack of budget or revenue data makes it difficult to gauge success. Chances Are, released in 1989. It made $16 million. It broke even. True Believer, released in 1989. Income details were unavailable when this video was developed. That's Adequate, released in 1989. We lacked the financial data when this video was assembled. Air America, released in 1990. It made $58 million. It was a success. Too Much Sunday, released in 1990. At the time of this video's production, the revenue data was absent. Soapdish, released in 1991. It made $36 million. It was a success. Chaplin, released in 1992. It made $9 million. It didn't make a profit. Shortcuts, released in 1993. It made $6 million. Its success cannot be measured without the necessary budget or revenue data. Heart and Souls, released in 1993. It made $17 million. We cannot establish success as budget or revenue data is missing. Natural Born Killers, released in 1994. It made $50 million. It was a success. Only You, released in 1994. It made $20 million. We cannot establish success as budget or revenue data is missing. Hail Caesar, released in 1994. At the time this video was produced, earnings figures were unavailable. Richard III, released in 1995. It made $3 million. Its success evaluation is hindered by the absence of budget or revenue data. Home for the Holidays. Released in 1995. It made $22 million. It broke even. Restoration. Released in 1995. It made $4 million. It didn't make a profit. Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree. Released in 1995. The earning figures were not accessible at the time of filming. Danger Zone. Released in 1996. We couldn't access the earnings information when producing this video. Hugo Pool. Released in 1997. The profit data was missing when this video was compiled. One Night Stand. Released in 1997. It made $3 million. It was a dud. U.S. Marshals. Released in 1998. It made $102 million. It was a success. The Gingerbread Man released in 1998. It made $2 million. It didn't make its money back. Two Girls and a Guy. Released in 1998. It made $2 million. It was a blockbuster. Bowfinger. Released in 1999. It made $99 million. It was a success. In Dreams. Released in 1999. It made $12 million. It was a flop. Black and White. Released in 1999. It made $5 million. It was a bust. Friends and Lovers. Released in 1999. It made $95,000. Assessing success is not possible without budget or revenue data. Wonder Boys. Released in 2000. It made $33 million. It broke even. Gothika. Released in 2003. It made $142 million. It was a blockbuster. The Singing Detective. Released in 2003. It made $337,000. It was a flop. Whatever We Do. Released in 2003. The amount it made was unavailable when we made this video. The Route V50. Released in 2004. The earning figures were not accessible at the time of filming. Eros. Released in 2004. At the time of this video's production, the revenue data was absent. Equilibrium. Released in 2004. We lacked the financial data when this video was assembled. Good Night and Good Luck. Released in 2005. It made $55 million. It was a winner. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Released in 2005. It made $16 million. It broke even. The Shaggy Dog. Released in 2006. It made $87 million. It was a success. A Scanner Darkly. Released in 2006. It made $8 million. It was a flop. A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. Released in 2006. It made $516,000. Its success cannot be measured without the necessary budget or revenue data. For an imaginary portrait of Diane Arbus. Released in 2006. It made $2 million. It didn't make its money back. Game 6. Released in 2006. It made $129,000. We cannot establish success as budget or revenue data is missing. Zodiac. Released in 2007. It made $85 million. It was a success. Lucky You. Released in 2007. It made $8 million. It was a bust. Iron Man released in 2008. It made $585 million. It was a hit. Charlie Bartlett. Released in 2008. It made $5 million. It was a flop. Tropic Thunder. Released in 2008. It made $196 million. It was a hit. Sherlock Holmes. Released in 2009. It made $524 million. It was a moneymaker. The Soloist. Released in 2009. It made $38 million. It was a bomb. Due Date. Released in 2010. It made $212 million. It was a moneymaker. Iron Man 2. Released in 2010. It made $624 million. It was a blockbuster. Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. Released in 2011. It made $335 million. It was a winner. The Avengers. Released in 2012. It made $2 billion. It was a hit. Iron Man 3. Released in 2013. It made $1 billion. It was a big hit. The Judge. Released in 2014. It made $84 million. It was a success. Chef. Released in 2014. It made $46 million. It was a hit. Avengers Age of Ultron. Released in 2015. It made $1 billion. It was a moneymaker. Captain America: Civil War. Released in 2016. It made $1 billion. It was a moneymaker. Spider-Man: Homecoming. Released in 2017. It made $880 million. It was a winner. Avengers Infinity War. Released in 2018. It made $2 billion. It was a winner. Avengers Endgame. Released in 2019. It made $3 billion. It was a winner. Dolittle. Released in 2020. It made $251 million. It was a success. Oppenheimer. Released in 2023. It made $952 million. It was a hit. Thanks for watching our video on Robert Downey Jr. What's your favorite Robert Downey Jr. movie? Who would you like to see in our next video? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.